And so, yeah, so as I mentioned before, I'm Evan English from Boston Public Library, and I'm going to show you our primary Blacklight application, which is called Digital Commonwealth. So this is a kind of a front end to our digital repository, which is providing access to digitized special collections content, primarily images. We also are growing our collection of full text materials, especially newspapers, over the past year. So I wanted to give a little demo about some of the features we've added to support that type of content. Before I get into that, just one of the other things that we have that's maybe a little different than from other Blacklight institutions is that we have this concept of institutions and collections. So BPL and Digital Commonwealth is a service hub for the Digital Public Library of America. So we not only do we integrate content from a lot of other different repositories around Massachusetts, we also provide scanning services to libraries, mostly smaller public libraries that don't have the capacity to digitize their own content or to host it themselves. And so all that material ends up in here. So we have both kind of like what we call hosted materials and harvested materials. And there's about 1.2 million records in our repository right now. But we do have institutions, so we have over 250 different institutions. And so each of these is kind of like an object in the repository. And then we can pick any of those institutions. We'll say Boston Athenaeum, for example, and then each institution has collections. And so the collection have their own pages, and you can choose to view the items in the collection or just search within a collection. So there's sort of these ways of sort of providing some hierarchy. And this was created before the existing Blacklight hierarchy gem. So I'm actually very curious to check that out because I don't really know much about it. But going back to the search features, so because of the amount of full text content that we've been integrating lately, we got a request from a lot of patrons and staff that the full text results are just overwhelming everything because they have so much text and often there's keyword matching. So basically what we did was to create an opt-in for full text results. So they don't show up by default. So just an example search, some of you might be familiar with one of Boston's most sort of tragically ludicrous disasters, which was the molasses flood in 1919, I believe it was. So basically, there was this giant tank of molasses in Boston's North End neighborhood, and it got too hot too fast and exploded and caused a giant 20-foot wave of molasses to come crashing through the neighborhood and killed a couple dozen people. So these are some images that we can view here related to the molasses tank explosion. But if we wanted to get maybe some newspaper articles or something like that, we could go back and include the full text results in that search. And the full text results, the full text field is sort of is not boosted in our search results. So we might have to scroll a little bit to find um, some newspaper results. Let me see if we can find something here. Give you a little example. Okay, so this is a issue of the Roxbury Gazette, South End Advertiser from January 1919. So newspaper issues or other full text content, we have this search inside feature, which allows me to search within the text and I can enter new terms or it helpfully suggests the original search term. So I'm just going to do a search for there and it gives us some highlighting of the search results within the full text. And we can choose to view that. So this uses the universal viewer, which is integrated into our Blacklight instance. Would love to learn more about how people are integrating things like Mirador and things like and other tools like that into their Blacklight. And let's just, oh, this is covering the zoom thing is sort of covering the full text control, but we can kind of get some search result highlighting if we click here, which is kind of hard to see, unfortunately. The zoom feature does not work all that great. That is my timer. So yeah, so we've got the full text searching. The full text searching in the Universal Viewer is supported by a gem that's called Blacklight IIIF search, which I would love to talk about more if you're interested. It is a add-on for Blacklight that supports the IIIF content search API and can be used with the Universal Viewer. I'm not sure about Mirador for searching full text content. The other thing I just want to call out real quickly is that we also integrated a new feature recently that is a item level contact form. And so basically we have like a site contact form, but we would get so many questions and people would not include the link to the thing that they were asking about. So we created an item level contact form so that now when people ask us questions, we get the link that's included by default in the email that's sent to our librarians and admins to deal with that stuff. So also integrated CAPTCHAs, which users hate, but we really needed to use to keep the spam under control. Again, it's digitalcommonwealth.org. Most of the code is available on GitHub. We have a gem that packages a lot of our customizations. It's called Commonwealth VLR Engine. VLR is virtual local repository, and it's on GitHub. So I am going to stop sharing there. And if you have any questions, please definitely get in touch or find me on Slack or in the chat.